Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ground Up with Natalee, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on what it actually takes to build a career in the entertainment industry as an actor. I sit down with actors, directors, and casting directors to talk about the real, unfiltered journey, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. No gatekeeping, no overnight success myths, just honest conversations to remind you that you're not alone and that you too can follow this dream. I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ground Up with Natalee. I am so excited for our guest today. My dear friend, Georgie Flores, is here with us today. And you may know her from Famous in Love. Also, she just booked an incredible show, Prison Break, which we talk a little bit about. But more importantly, you guys, we talk about the last decade of trials, tribulations, auditions, reps, rejection, all of the above, and it's truly such an inspiring conversation. I know you guys, and I know you're gonna love this so much. So please send this to a friend if you feel inspired, and let's get into the episode. Georgie, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to have you on the pod.
I'm very happy to be here.
We start every episode with the Ground Up 3, so I just want to know, where are you from?
I'm from Texas, from the border of Mexico and Texas, a little town called Eagle Pass.
Okay.
I was born in Eagle Pass, but I lived in Piedras Negras, Coahuila.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was your first dream job?
My first dream job was to be in an Olsen Twins movie.
Okay, so to be an actor.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Were you like, were you like 6 and you told your mom and you're like, yeah, that's what I want to do?
I don't think I told anybody, but I think it was watching, like, I was obsessed with Disney movies, of course, and Lion King. And all I know is I wanted to be in the movies, you know, cartoons or.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah. I would like act like a cartoon.
Pocahontas was my favorite Disney movie, and I got so inspired too. I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to be like a
Somehow.
cartoon, like an animal, but there's still time.
What ended up being your first job? And it doesn't have to be like TV. It could be like, I worked at a grocery store like me.
My first was a dog sitter.
Okay.
Or nanny, and I was like 12.
Yeah, like before you could work somewhere legally.
And then when I was like 13 or 14, I got my first like part-time job after school though.
Yeah.
At a postcard company.
Oh.
Doing their faxes. Yeah.
Faxes.
Yeah.
That was legally here. You couldn't get it. I'm from here. You couldn't get a job until you were 16. I don't know if that was
This
the
was
same.
Florida. I grew up in Florida.
Okay.
Moved to Florida when I was 2.
So they allowed you at 13 to get right into the work field?
Probably under the table.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, right. When I was like 15 and 3/4, I applied to like everything because.
Yeah, I wanted my own money
Me
so
too.
I could go walk to McDonald's and buy some hash browns.
Me too. I'd ask my mom to take me and I'm like, it's fine. I'll buy it.
Yeah. No, my mom was like, we don't eat fast food in this house. I was like, well, then
Oh,
I'll
she was
make
ahead of
my
her
own
time.
money and eat fast food there.
She was ahead of it. Okay, so Georgie, I am so excited to get your ground up story around acting because I've seen you from afar for so many years and I love your grit, determination, and I know that you've had so many trials and tribulations personally, yes, but work related, like so freaking many. And so I really want to try to do my best to guide, the timeline all the way through. But I think we just kind of start. I would love to know, like, let's go to like maybe when you got your first, because you wanted to be an actor since you were very young. When did you get your first agent or manager? Did you move to LA? Did your parents support this from the beginning?
My parents were always so supportive. My parents, not financially, but they were like, you can do whatever you want to do, which until I would call my mom crying when I was older and be in frustration, she'd be like, why don't you quit? But that's another story.
Because they're protecting
But,
their baby.
But I moved. So I have a very interesting story. I don't know if you know. My parents moved to Florida. They're still married. From Mexico. They were immigrants, no longer, but they were. And they, my mom got a job as a housekeeper for this this very successful, or this woman that was famous, and her daughter and I were the same age. So my mom would bring me to work, and we became best friends. And that family, like I grew up with that family. And when I was 12, they moved back to Los Angeles because they were living in Florida, and they lived in Hidden Hills. So I would go back and forth from our 2-bedroom apartment that, I shared with my 2 big sisters and my parents, and then living in Hidden Hills in like a beautiful
So your mom moved
mansion.
to LA as well. She took the
No,
family.
I would go back and forth.
Oh.
So the family moved to
LA, and you were
Yeah.
in Florida.
And I was in
your mom
Florida.
was like, well, that's your bestie, your cousin practically. Like,
Yeah.
go
And they would
stay
be
with
like,
them
do you want to come? And, and I would stay here
for
for
the
6
summer.
months.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
And I'd go back and forth. And I did that until I moved here when I was 19.
Okay.
And then it took me, and I moved here because I wanted to be an actress.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize how hard it would be also back then. Like there was not a lot of opportunities for Latinas, and all my auditions were like, human trafficking victim and maid and immigrant, or, and I didn't have an accent because I grew up in America.
Yeah.
And my accent was terrible. And so, yeah, I mean, I booked my first real acting job was on CSI Miami, and I played a human trafficking victim.
Stop.
And I had like one line, which was, "Where are you taking us?" So like, we rehearsed it, and then the director's like, "Great, now just do it with an accent." And I was like, and I'm with a bunch of like sweet, lovely Latina extras, and I was like, how do I say this with an accent? It probably came out Russian.
Yes,
And
yes. I've
that
done
was
that.
my
I've
like
done
one line. I was like, "Where are you taking us?" And that was my first
experience.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I just had Sierra on, and she said 2 things the exact same that you just said. One was, yeah, early in the day, all my auditions were for The Maid's Daughter and for, like drug cartel something. And then she goes, my first guest star was CSI Miami. I just had her on an hour ago. So that's so funny.
Oh,
You
that's
guys
so
are
funny.
Kismet. But okay. So you're 19. Where are you living at this point with this friend?
I am living in Hidden Hills.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I moved into their home because it was like my second family.
Yes, that's nice. So you
Yeah.
had like a place to live.
And
Did
I
you
was-
have to get a side job?
I had 2 jobs. I was like a personal assistant and a nanny. So I worked like 6 days a week and was still like bouncing my, or overdrawing my account somehow.
Yeah.
And I was
Well,
paying
it's
for
hard.
everything on my, my car,
Yeah, it was just a house over your
Insurance,
head, and then
yeah.
everything else was. And then how did you get your first representation?
At the time I did that. I remember, what was the name of that store that it was like an acting bookstore?
Oh,
remember.
Samuel French?
Samuel French? Is that it? Yeah, I
Like
think
the
so.
play? Like where all the
Yes.
plays were at? Yeah.
And then they sold these postcard headshot things that it was like a clear, so your headshot was like,
Okay.
the first thing that they would see. They didn't have to open it.
Okay.
And I sent it to like 30
Physically in the mail.
physically in the mail. And then I got a call, and then that was my first. I don't even remember what the name of the agency
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that too. Manila, except I just did like a Manila folder at
Oh,
home,
yeah.
but I physically mailed it with a burned CD of my of me. I guess I taped myself at home doing a scene or something.
that's-
Obviously never got answered back, but
You didn't?
No.
How did you find your first rep then?
cold pitch emailing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, like a year later or whatever, like after realizing that method wasn't going to work. But okay, so now you're auditioning, you're 20 years old, you have your side jobs, and you were with this rep, it didn't work out.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I would just find, I had one of my, my childhood friends, family friends was an actor, and he got me a meeting with his manager, and then I moved to that, and that was Bohemia Group, and I was with them for a long time.
Okay.
And that's when I got like the first CSI. I think I probably it took me like 3 years to, or maybe 4 years to like book CSI after, you know, because I was so green.
Yeah, that is exactly me too.
Yeah, and I was so nervous. I'm still nervous.
Oh, I get
sometimes.
so nervous.
Yeah.
Self-tapes I don't, but like throw me in person or in a Zoom, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 3 years. Well, 5 or 4 before booking my first role ever.
Yeah, I hear these stories like, I booked my first audition. I'm like,
oh,
not me.
Not me.
Yeah.
Girl, 300 auditions and then I booked my first one.
Yeah.
So then it was kind of like an upward trajectory from there.
It was a slow upward trajectory.
But I want to hear about, so Famous in Love, you were a series regular on, which was a huge deal for you.
Yes.
I'm sure.
I was working all the jobs. I was working at Rebecca Minkoff. And I was also doing commercials at the time. I always never had one job. I always had multiple jobs.
How did you join SAG? Was it the CSI job?
That first CSI job, Taft-Hartley'd me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which means that, you know, they only have to pay a small fee. They'll hire a non-union actor for something if they like your tape or your audition because it doesn't cost them. The Taft-Hartley is like, they pay a small producer fee.
Oh, really?
To get that for you.
Oh,
I think.
So long ago.
That's what I heard. I got Taft-Hartley too. Yeah.
What was your first job?
A national commercial.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I went in for the stunt double because in order, like per SAG, if you get hit by a lot of water, you need a double. So for this farmer's insurance spot, it was like you have to jump in a pool. And so I was like super comfortable with water because I surfed growing up. And so my agent would use anything related to like get me anywhere.
Wow.
You know, because not people have, he's the best, still my commercial agent. And he, so I went in for the stunt double and then they were like, oh, do you just want to like be the role? And I was like, duh. Yeah. And that fucking commercial made me,
dude,
it went in the Spanish market and that was my first
I
job.
did one of those. Yeah, the Spanish and English.
Oh my God, double. I love commercials. I miss them actually.
Me too. I think I made more on one commercial than I made in the entire season of Famous in Love.
Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which I didn't, they paid me okay.
Yeah.
Disney, but
Freeform, thank you.
They paid me okay, not great, but yeah.
Back then, definitely.
But back then, commercials were
it.
Yeah,
and they're still really good if you hit one.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I did one. I was in between jobs during these strikes and struggling, and I just started doing commercials again. I
love it.
Got lucky enough to do a USPS.
Hell yeah.
Which was, they're still paying me.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I did a Snickers one, bro, 4 years.
Still paying you?
And every 12, after a year, they can renegotiate the like usage fee. And so every 13 weeks, like I still get, I wonder if I might have just stopped. Like I feel like I haven't seen a check from them in a little, but yeah, it's amazing. So anyways, okay. So right before you booked Famous in Love, like how many auditions do you think you went on before you booked Famous in Love?
I didn't do the counting thing. I've seen people, I think that would have frustrated me.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so you probably auditioned for 6 years before booking Famous in Love, or 7 years.
Yes.
You know, you probably went on 500 auditions before booking Famous
I was going
in
to say probably around 500.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Is it? I just stopped. But you know, I think I got to a point where I just stopped being like, this is the one. You know, I was like, I no longer thought about it after.
Which right when you stop thinking about it is when you book something.
Yeah.
How did you deal with those 6 years of like being in your early 20s, getting so much rejection?
Crying a lot.
Yeah.
So frustrated and confused, you know, because I grew up around that family that I grew up with was so successful and around many successful people. And so I didn't understand why it wasn't happening for me.
And you're like, I'm working so hard. Like I'm putting the work in.
And I was thinking I deserve it. But I realized.
That's one thing I don't think people understand is they're like, I'm working so hard. Like, why isn't it paying off? And there kind of isn't an answer to it. It just happens when it happens. Or I guess mindset, when you let go. and you actually believe
Yes.
that you...
I realized all those years I wanted it so badly, but I wasn't feeling like I could have it, like even when I booked Famous in Love, I was like, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And I don't have that feeling anymore. I work my best to move past it when I do, but I realized I needed to believe that I could achieve it and feel like I feel lucky. That's when I think I realized, oh yeah, I forgot, it was so long ago, but I was working at the clothing store. I could barely make it to auditions, but I always made it to every single one because back then they were in person. And back then you'd have like 10 a week sometimes, especially during pilot season.
Yep.
And
you'd have to work around your schedule.
Yeah.
Like I have a flat tire. I'm so sorry. Like,
yes. And
changing
all
in
of
the
the girls at the store were always like having my back and helping me. And I was miserable for a long time because I didn't want to, I was drowning.
Yeah.
And then I switched my mindset and started feeling lucky that I was able, that I had all of these auditions, that I was getting in these rooms, that I had friends having my back to let me go on these auditions. And then when I let go of all that and started actually feeling lucky was when I booked Famous in Love.
Lucky girl syndrome is what the internet calls it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, it's a real thing because subconsciously you also have to believe that you deserve something.
Yeah.
Or else it's not going to come your way.
Yeah. And not even feeling like I was going to book something. I just was now in the mode of I'm an auditioner.
In life.
Yeah. But still just feeling grateful for what I had. And then I got more. Yeah.
Abundance mindset versus like, not to use the word like victim mindset, but like it could happen when you're just like, I'm not, I'm getting these auditions and no one's, it's like, how do you switch that to be like, wait, I have opportunities. I have auditions. Like, I'm grateful for it, I guess.
And that's like my life lesson is when I start to feel overwhelmed. I even just going back home for Christmas this year was, difficult. And I have a wonderful family, but, sisters fighting.
Yeah, family dynamics.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Parents getting older and being terrifying. And I went in thinking like, I'm going to go home for 2 weeks and I just want to relax. And it was anything. But my mom was putting us to work and I was gardening and raking leaves and cleaning her. She has these rental properties. My mom's a bad bitch, but
that's cool.
And then I halfway through, I was like telling Luis, I was like, God, this sucks. And then I was like, this is so not how I pictured it would be. And then I stopped for a second. I was like, I have my whole family here.
Yeah.
My parents are still alive. Like everyone's healthy. We're here. You know, this is not how I pictured it. And do I want to be, scrubbing floors? No, but I am so lucky I still have this. And then I switched my viewpoint halfway through my trip.
It's almost like taking out any expectations.
Yeah, which is hard for me because I like to mock it up in my mind.
Yeah, I feel that. Are you type A?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Ground Up is sponsored by Mastermind Media. Whenever someone asks me, how do I get everything done between my social media, my podcast, I say, well, I don't do any of it. Mastermind Media helps me with all of it. They created my logo. All of those reels you see on TikTok and Instagram, it's them. My podcast, editing, all the graphics on YouTube, it's Mastermind Media. So in this digital age, I find that more and more people are needing a company like this who handles everything start to finish. So if you're interested in finally taking your business idea to the next level, definitely contact Mastermind Media. All of their information is in my show notes. Okay, so you shoot Famous in Love. You're on a hit freeform show as a young actress in Hollywood. Do you kind of feel like your dream came to fruition in that moment, or were you still waiting for the other shoe to drop? Because now you're in your 20s.
Waiting.
It did 3 seasons.
It did 2 seasons.
Did 2 seasons.
Guess you didn't watch it. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think on Famous in Love, I wasn't like, this is it. You know, I was so grateful and so happy every day, but I knew that it would be hard again.
You knew
which
it was
is
a
interesting.
stepping stone. That is so interesting.
I knew, so I didn't let, and we came out at the same time as Riverdale, and I wasn't expecting it to be, as big of a hit. Like we did. You remember you would do that that training, media training.
Yeah.
And we did it with like some of the kids from Riverdale because our shows were, and they were because it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Both of our shows were Warner Brothers. And I knew that Riverdale would be a hit because I was obsessed with Archie comics.
Yeah.
And I hoped the same, but I didn't let myself be like, this is going to change my life.
Which is good,
yeah.
by the way, because I've seen that happen to friends. And in my head, I'm like, I know it's not, and that's not to say it's not going to be a success, but I'm just like, no role is, there are life-changing roles, I guess, but.
There are, and it changed all of theirs. I mean, or, look at the Stranger Things kids, or
yeah,
there's plenty, and I still think at any point it could happen,
Mm-hmm. But wait, it's really interesting that you said, you were like, I knew that it was going to get hard again. And like,
which I shouldn't have maybe had that expectation. I was going to say, do you
feel like you kind of manifested it in a way? Because it did indeed get hard again.
For sure.
So you wrap Famous in Love and back.
And then I booked Dumpling around the same time, which was
that.
Yeah. Great little Netflix movie.
Yeah.
And then I did, I did like a Hulu horror movie. And so, and then COVID happened. And then I booked this great HBO pilot that was like a Latina Kardashians, like a kind of mocking. Well, I don't want to say that, but like that a reality TV family. Yeah,
but they're Latina.
It was more satire. Yeah,
okay.
But like, and it was great. I loved the cast. It was like a dream job.
Okay, so this might have been the moment where you're like, oh, I booked the thing.
Yes. That was the point where I was like, this is exactly.
It's HBO, which is so much different than Freeform. You're like, I'm moving up. I feel like I'm using my creative abilities.
And I loved the character. It was she was so funny. And then the strike happened, and whether it was the strike or HBO, and HBO was also shifting, and they were going back and forth from Max and Go or whatever.
Yes,
and then
getting bought by different people. And
they held us until the last possible second, and, and then didn't get picked up.
So let's talk about this. It's so relevant, and I feel like it's never talked about. So you book a pilot. Do you sign? I forget. If it's just a pilot, do you still sign a 6-year contract?
Yes.
Okay. So when you book a series regular role, everyone, you immediately essentially sign a test, or even when you test for it, even if you didn't book it, you still sign a 6-year deal. Mm-hmm. It's just standard across all of these shows. I feel like every time I've done it, it's been that case, whether it's Hulu or CW. And so you book this, you sign the 6-year thing, you see, the money. And then they're able to, okay, so then you shoot the pilot and you need to wait before you get picked up for a full season.
Yeah, I think with that one, I booked it in 2022.
How long did they hold you?
I booked it in like July, and we were supposed to shoot in October, and then we got pushed. We shot it in December.
Oh God. So now you're being held
6 months.
July 22, which by the way, even though it was strikes and shit, that was kind of I remember 22 was like prime. There was shit going on.
Yeah.
There were auditions happening, and you were not able to audition for any of them.
Yeah. But nobody wants you to audition in second position. So
yeah, you don't want to. I'm saying that's a good thing. You're but you're excited. You're held. You shoot it. Then when do you find out that it doesn't get picked up?
So yeah, I think I found out. It might have been even August, maybe in August, and then we shot it like the first week of December, and then didn't find out till 6 months later.
Wow, June.
I think the last day of filming, they have 6 months after the last day of filming.
Okay, so June of 23. So you're held for a year.
Yeah,
a little less than a year.
During the strike, can't even audition, can't do anything.
True.
Yeah.
But you're excited about this thing. Also, though, there's just such an element of mental fuckery happening right now because you're like, first of all, you're hopeful. You think it's going to go because you're excited about it.
This one I thought was going to go.
Yeah. So then to not only be on hold, which you don't you don't think about the hold part until after your release and everything. And then you're like, wait, I just got bamboozled. Like I wasn't able to, but you don't think about it in the moment. You're kind of on cloud 9. You're just like,
Have you done a few pilots that didn't go?
never. But I've been like,
That was my second. I did another one for Amazon.
what was that one? I feel like
That
I know
one
something else you booked.
It was this kind of like it was like also a great cast. It was like Lorenza
Wait.
Izzo and Sarah Ramos.
What's the
and-
basketball one that you did? Or sport one? No.
Does
Okay.
that mean-
No.
It sounds cool. But it wasn't me.
Okay.
No, it was like also a Latino, like kind of Friends, but in Beechwood and kind of indie vibe.
Sometimes you also we're creatives, we're actors. We can read a script and be like, oh, I'll do it,
still
but it's not.
stoked. Yeah, it would have been interesting, but I probably wouldn't have watched it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you weren't a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've done a couple, quote, people call it failed pilots, right? They didn't get picked up. They didn't go. That's crushing in itself. You booked Famous in Love in 2018.
Was it? I'm bad at years.
2017 probably, because you shot 2018 to 20. So my point is like you haven't gotten a fucking booking call for like something that's been for, now we're in 2024 at this point because we're going to get to Prison Break, which is your latest series regular that you booked. But like, we're going through all of this.
Yeah, 2022 until 2024. What year was it? 2025.
2025.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's kind of since Famous in Love though, because you just booked a pilot and like,
Yeah.
you shot it, but like once you heard it didn't go, it's like, oh my God, I'm literally back to, does it feel like you're back to square one?
100%.
Which is
And
so
it's
hard.
so interesting because sometimes, I have other Latinas and we all go out for the same stuff. And sometimes they won't see me for something because they're like, we don't think Georgie's tough enough.
Yes.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm way tougher than.
Yes.
What do you mean?
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Or
They're like,
they're-
I know Natalee, I know her essence. And I'm like, no, I get it, but you've only seen me play
Yeah.
that thing because
Yeah. I'm like, I'm tough as nails. What do you mean?
Yes. Okay, so let's get into Prison Break. You
Mhm.
get the audition in your inbox.
I got the audition. It was, I think, in February of last year or 2025. And I was just like every other audition, but I was like, oh, it's in person. And
That's
and
crazy.
Wendy O'Brien was casting, who cast the HBO pilot, who is one of the most magical human beings alive.
I love her. And she works with you in the auditions, which is so rare. Like she
And
actually
makes you feel like you're $1 million.
Oh yeah.
She's just so warm and welcoming, and I wasn't who I'm so scared, and it was in front of Elgin and Dawn, who created Prison Break, and Elgin, who was the writer director.
For the first audition?
Yeah, they were both there.
Dang.
And
So I
which
feel
I
like-
also had, it was producers or director session, which I also hadn't done in person.
So it was immediate producer session. Okay, that's great. So you had a connection with a casting director. They brought you in immediately. You skipped the first audition, or she might have not even done it
I don't think
because
she
she's so
did.
good. She can be like, hey, look, here's 12 of the greatest for this role. I read the script. Here's the, okay.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
And it's great when you're the actor chosen to come in. It's perfect because it's
which
way
I didn't
more
know.
intentional.
Yeah, and
Narrowed down.
and so yeah, and then it was a short 2 scenes, but I just could also tell that Dawn and Elgin were so fucking cool that I just wasn't for some reason wasn't scared. I didn't nail it, but I just still felt great.
What does not nailing it? Like you fumbled on words?
No, I have to get really angry in one of the scenes, and I can get really angry, but I couldn't get really angry.
Yeah. It felt you could feel like
yeah.
the forcedness. You're just like, ah, fuck. Yeah. Okay.
But it still felt, and Wendy's such a good actor too, and I'm acting with Wendy.
Sometimes
So
it takes you out of it.
I actually
It's like,
felt connected to
oh,
her.
that's
but,
good.
But I just was like, this isn't. I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't. There was something missing,
Yeah. So did they have you do it twice?
They had me do it a few times, which also feels great when you're like, okay, You,
good
you
sign.
like me.
People say, they're like, if they have you do it once, it doesn't matter. You could still book it. Yes, but also no. Like, if you have me do it once, unless it's a guest star or maybe a recurring, but like, I don't know.
been, I've learned there is
Doesn't
no
matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when I went in for dumpling, that was like, 16-year-old beauty queen. And I was like, and they're like tiny and skinny. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it was a waste of my time. And she has a Southern accent. And I'm like, what? There's not a lot of Mexicans with Southern accents out there, but okay. But I happen to be really good at it. And from growing up in Florida. And then I booked it, So I actually, after that, learned I'm not going to judge it or decide whether I'm going to be right or wrong. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's times where I'm like, this is perfect for me. And crickets.
Don't even I know, I hate that.
So
I get excited about one too, just from the breakdown.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Don't hear anything back. But that's because casting directors are good at their job. And the more I understand and realize that, it actually makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they don't not like you. They just know that you're not right for this role. They're doing their job and they're doing a good job.
And have you ever been on the other side? Have you ever been a reader? Have you ever?
Never.
I did it once when I first started. I don't remember what casting director or how I even got that opportunity. Also, now looking back, I was so bad. I remember trying to read these. I remember what movie it was for. It was called Fired Up.
Okay.
And all of the actors were great. Like it was for reading them. I was reading all the males, and they were males. Who says that? All the men.
But males in like character description terms,
yeah.
especially back then.
Yeah,
it was like,
and they, and everybody did something incredible. Like and some few were not good, but I would say the majority made it their own. And I was like, how do you choose? It's impossible.
Really? That's so
and even when I did the Amazon pilot, I had to read my love interest, and they wanted an Asian man. And again, all of them, they picked Hayden Zito, who I love and was amazing. But I think I read with like 8 or 10
Wait,
guys.
so which Amazon pilot was this?
That was the one that didn't get picked up.
That you can't think of the name of.
It was the
Latino Friends. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never done that.
But that was so enlightening, because I'm like, everybody's great. It's just an essence, or, the same lines, Hayden played it awkward, and the same lines this other guy played it confident, and both worked. It's just what they want at the end of the day.
If we can truly get in our minds and understand that, plus tie our subconscious beliefs with the fact that we're awesome, and if this is going to be our destiny, then we can make it happen.
I don't think it's even if you want this to be your destiny, it will happen. It's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
It is accepting all the rejection. It is accepting that you can't decide how or when, and that you just have to hold out. I have never once thought about quitting, which is pretty crazy, because I've had some insanely low moments and have ran out of money, and have had to move in with friends, and have had to sell my clothes to pay my rent, and have had to figure.
I came and bought clothes from you once.
Oh yeah, I was probably running out of money. I still sell my clothes sometimes when I'm done with them.
No,
I donate some to the women's shelter. Okay, whatever doesn't sell.
No, you are very charitable.
Yeah.
I will say that. I actually have a question for you about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love what you were just saying. You were making a really good point. So I feel bad that I feel like I made you laugh or something.
I also went on a tangent about clothes.
You kept going through it all.
Yeah, and I remember I called my mom probably in the last few years, and she was like, "Why don't you move back home?" And I just think this job is insanely hard, and I was like, "Please don't ever say that." And I appreciate you and I love you, but I know it's just hard, but I really believe that this will happen, and I'm still gonna keep holding out hope, and I'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I did.
Did you, when I saw your breakdown, when I saw your deadline come out for Prison Break, I felt like an emotional reaction to it.
I felt the same about your FBI.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because like even though we've known each other for a while, we don't like keep in, but there's just something in you that I see in myself, and like I feel like similar within the career space, like just the rejection and everything. And I obviously know that you know, we're in Famous in Love, and then I know that I swear there was some other. Did deadlines come out for your pilots? Because maybe that's what I knew in my head, and then obviously not seeing it come out, probably knowing subconsciously that like, oh shit, it didn't come out or whatever. So when I saw that, and I know how big of a deal this show is, it's not just it's fucking Hulu, it's Prison Break, like, and then seeing the cast that is alongside you and everything, I was just like, she deserves this so much, and it was so cool to see. But I want to know, we were talking about quitting. Was there ever a moment like right before, like the weeks leading up to Prison Break, not where you felt like you were going to quit, but were you like, holy shit, this is getting crazy. Like I need to book something?
Yes. I mean, especially with my fiance being Mexican and immigrating to America, and how hard that is, and that process takes so long, and he won't be able to work. And I finally met the man I want to marry, and he happens to live in another country. And I was like, I need something to help us. And I was doing commercials again, and just doing whatever I could, selling clothes. Yeah. Whatever I
Sell
could.
lemonade.
Anything but my feet. Or my body. So last year I had one of the hardest years, and I had to move in with one of my best friends who was so incredible and generous, and let me live with her, and I felt so unlucky again. You know, I was like, how am I at this place where I am struggling again and can't pay my rent? Or I still had some, but I was like, if I keep going, I'm going to, So the intelligent thing would be to give up my place. They also had raised my rent to like almost $4,000.
Yeah.
I could have tried to move into a studio, but, I was like, and I just believed that it would be temporary. But I was devastated inside, that I felt like I was going backwards. Luis and I were long distance, and I was spending a lot of time in Mexico City, but having him come here and come to my friend's house, and I just felt embarrassed. And so I was feeling really bad for myself. I felt, and then at the end of 2024, I knew that this isn't sustainable. Yeah. I'm not going to accomplish anything feeling bad for myself. So I kind of like kicked myself in the ass and was like, if this is what do you know about mindset? You've done this before, and you're not going to accomplish something thinking so negatively and feeling so bad about yourself. So, and I kept thinking, I was seeing friends go out on things that I used to go out on, and going in rooms I used to go to, and not getting those auditions. And I kept thinking, well, I'm not being negative. I'm being a realist. I'm just stating the facts. And then I realized I needed to actually be a little bit delusional and really believe and envision and see that I could have all these things and that I could have it again. And so at the beginning and I do meditate. I do a lot of self-work. I've been in therapy for like 15 years and just was like, started taking really good care of myself. And whether it was sleep and exercise and not drinking coffee and doing try to do all of it at the same time. I remember, I still have the magic book that you gave me, and using it again because it had been sitting there empty.
Yeah, of course.
And I also was walking by, those little like libraries that they have on the side of the road. And there was a book called Ask and It Is Given. And I cannot remember the author right now. Is it Abraham Hicks?
Probably.
And my dad had told me to read it for years, and I just ignored him.
The Law of Attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerry
Hicks, who then turns into Abraham Hicks.
Oh, copy that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Wow, that was in there.
yeah, and I just picked it up and it sat on my shelf, and then and then I started reading it also, and it's very much about it's the law of attraction, and so I just started delusionally believing that I was successful again, even though I'm like living at my friend's house, and it's not about like being a jerk. It's just feeling good about yourself, and also feeling good about yourself isn't just. It's also health. It's also doing good things and whether I'm being there for other people and making decisions that I think are pro survival, for my life. And so I started just doing all those things. And then I booked Chicago Med.
Yes.
And I had gone on the audition for Prison Break that week, and then I left for Chicago Med. So I was in Chicago for like 2 weeks. And then while I was in Chicago, I got another call back for Prison Break. And I was just like, I know that this is it. I just
Chills.
felt because I was feeling so good.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like a film is taken off of everything. And you're like, wow, things don't have to be terrible.
yeah. And also, how lucky am I that I have the most wonderful, generous friend, Sarah, to let me live with her.
Right.
And that I had the most incredible and supportive partner who didn't want to be with me because I was successful. He wanted to be with me just because he loves me.
Yeah.
And
reframing things.
yeah,
and
it was all the same situation, but now I was seeing it in an entirely different way. And then, so I knew that it was coming. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't waiting for the other shoe to drop when I booked it. And I was elated, but also, some of my friends were like, oh my God, are you like, and I was like, yeah, I'm. And they're like, you don't have to downplay it. I was like, no, but I'm not. I know that I deserved this, and I am no longer, feeling like, oh, this, I can't believe it. I'm like, no, I can believe it.
Yes, I know exactly. It's almost like when you got the call, I thought that my reaction was going to be so different when I booked technically, this is my first series regular.
I know.
Yeah. So it's like, I thought that I was going to be, and like I was
even
elated.
though you've been crushing and working nonstop.
It's been a nice little trajectory.
Yeah.
But I did think that too, and I just thought that the call was going to be like, this is so life-changing, but it just seamlessly happened. And it was because I was finally ready for that news. And I finally actually believed that I could handle that type of, I don't even know, like position or job or money. I don't know what it was, but.
Yeah. And I think, the sky's the limit. And what I've learned about spending time with such successful people, and because of the way that I grew up, and these people all just so deeply believed that they deserved it. And that's what I was missing. I wanted it, but I didn't for a long time believe that I deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
And felt it, already here.
You had to go in and rewire like your thinkings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, which is, it's not your fault. It was like the way that you were raised. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a question about representation really quick. I wanted to know if you have any stories where you had to let a rep go or that you got fired.
I've never been fired.
Okay. That's actually really crazy and cool, because there were months where you weren't booking. It's good on those reps for not being assholes.
It's because I've got a great personality.
Yeah, there you go. They're like, we don't want to let this one go.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. By some miracle, I'm really bad at that. I am incredibly loyal. And I do think that can work against you sometimes. I did leave Bohemia Group because I had an opportunity to work with Untitled when I was, before Famous in Love. And so I took it.
They reached out to you?
I had a friend who was at Untitled and who I met his manager, and his manager was like, come take a meeting. And I knew I couldn't.
There was something inside you that felt off about Bohemian because...
Yeah, and they were small and they were fantastic, but I was like, I want to do want to do big things, and
they might have not seen that same vision, and that
Yeah.
would manifest in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that's the one thing that you have had.
Luck.
Yeah, that's
Now
been
that
great
I
for
think-
you
yes,
over
I
the
haven't.
years. It's like
I've been incredibly lucky, and I've been with
reps.
I was with Untitled for however long until my manager left and moved to 360, and now I've been at 360
Okay.
for I don't even know.
But you've been with the
15.
same
Yeah.
manager then forever.
My manager, pretty much, yes, with Justin, but also my manager who worked under Justin moved to London, and then I found a new one.
Got it. Okay. And agency-wise, you've had the same one forever?
Oh no, I did. Oh yeah, that was also hard. I was with this agent, and she was great.
And you don't have to name if you don't want.
No, I won't.
Yeah,
She worked her butt off, but I also just knew that our visions were different, and it was incredibly hard to leave. And then now I'm with Innovative.
When was that? When you left that agency?
That was right before the HBO pilot,
Okay, so 2022.
2022.
So how did you get the courage? Did you email her, call her?
No, I call.
Okay, you called. How did you get the courage? Were you just like,
I do like confrontation, which is very rare. I'm Latina.
yeah,
And I have
like it too.
4 older sisters.
Holy shit, I did not know that.
Yeah. 2 live in Mexico, but 2, yeah. So I can confront it, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
Mostly it's if I hear somebody needs a talking to.
That's
But
when you
yeah.
like confrontation.
Yeah, but not in this situation where I'm like going to let somebody down.
You knew you were like, I think that we have the same goals. Was that kind of the reasoning?
She was sending me, and I've gone in and out of this where I'm like, I don't want to audition for this, feels like not something I want to do.
Totally.
And she was very much like, work begets work, and you got to audition for everything. And I don't think that is wrong, but I think there's also some value in,
100%.
and aligning yourself with what you want to do.
Yes.
And somebody who sees your vision. Of course, we don't always have so much say, but I think it is really important to a relationship with your reps where you understand each other, which is very hard.
It is very hard.
Very hard to find.
It's very hard to find.
Yeah.
And it's what I talk about so much on this podcast. That's why I asked about like the courage to drop them, because I feel like that's actually the number one detriment of people
Absolutely.
right now, is that once they get signed, right, they feel, which I've been there. I was 21 or whatever, and I was like, oh my God, all my questions are answered. Thank you, God. I'm finally repped. So why the fuck would I fire someone?
I always encourage my friends though to when I hear them and like, I haven't gotten on, I'm like, drop them.
Yeah, me too.
It's better to have nothing, and I know it takes some balls, but it's about forward movement,
Mhm.
and there's very little that's in our control in this job. That's the one thing that is.
Bingo. Bingo. Yes, I agree completely. Have
Yeah.
you noticed like such a shift in our industry right now in 2026 in general for actors? Like, do you ever look at it and you're like, holy shit, so much has changed since
Yeah. I mean,
audition wise, or
yes, of course, and also.
why do you think there's no
Well-
auditions anymore?
Well, we know why.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of stuff is being made.
Yeah. Why?
The strike, and I don't know.
I don't know either. I was just wondering if you had like an opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm not that. I try to not get so into that because my friends are like, it's all doomed. I'm like, I don't want to think like that.
I know, same.
By some miracle where we have jobs and and yes, there is a scarcity, but I believe that it'll come back.
I don't know that it'll ever be like,
Maybe it will. Maybe we get, I think also probably our phones and watching stuff on TikTok, and maybe people are consuming less and so they're making less. But
yeah. Do you have any friends doing verticals, or do you know anything about verticals?
no, I've seen them on TikTok,
Yeah.
and I love to go down a little
You do?
15-minute spiral. Okay. Me and Luis will like watch because they're so bad.
I know.
I love to hate watch them.
You're the consumer of.
No, listen, I'll on TikTok. I don't download it, but there's this one, and then it's like a hockey player. I also watch everything. Like I watch all the shows.
You do?
Oh yeah.
I'm so
Like
bad
right
at
now.
it. I mean, I'm doing pretty good, but
I don't want to say. Oh, and I'm
do you
watching All's Fair. I'm watching
I
The
heard I need to
Beast
watch
in
that.
Me. I'm
I watched
watching Stranger Things.
I didn't watch
I'm
that.
watching. Did you see Task?
Yes.
Incredible.
That's my favorite one over
Oh,
Black
yeah.
Rabbit.
Oh, finished Black Rabbit. It was fine.
It was fine.
All Her Fault.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. Every single human being has brought that up. I need to watch it. It's a huge thing, and I'm meaning to look more into it for my listeners because it might be the new. I'm not saying it's going to take over everything.
It's not going to. It's too.
No, but the problem is the studios are now going to start making them better. Right now, it's China, and it's huge over there, and they're bringing it here, and it's like extremely cheesy. But the problem is the studios are understanding that the younger generation are now like that's how they're viewing content, and so I think that they're going to put a lot of money. I know that
they'll try, and then I don't think it'll be successful.
Yeah,
and then they'll have to make more stuff
Back to
like
the
The
big
Summer I
screen.
Turned Pretty.
Yeah,
Which was I just watched for the first time, and it's incredible.
I know. I got for season whatever season they're on, I got like a producer session for. So I was like, oh, I better binge it. Like this was last.
I had an audition for, but I never saw that character.
Yeah.
I wonder was it a chef?
Oh no.
Was it a cook?
No.
Oh.
She was like in college or something. But once I got the call back, I was like, oh, better watch it. And it was so good.
So good.
And I was so sad. Strong pin. What does that even mean?
No, I'm like, don't tell me. I actually am like, don't tell me.
That's what I do. Yeah, now.
Unless I got it, don't tell me. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to producers. They loved you. Yay.
The amount of life-changing auditions I've had that I've didn't get that I would have seen, that I was like very close on or 50-50, I would drive somebody absolutely insane.
Right.
And
like the close calls.
Yes, and I've seen people's lives change over those roles, and I just had to develop like incredibly tough skin and
just be like that. It wasn't meant for me. Like the classic. That's so hard.
And so that made it so of everything else that I wasn't that close on, I didn't really think about. You know,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Because you're like so. Also,
yeah. I had I met with. I remember her name, but for Tell Me Lies, for the time the character was like a hairdresser.
Oh.
It was one of the main characters for season 1.
Okay.
Who was your show creator? It was a
Megan.
really pretty woman. Yeah. Yeah. It was during COVID, and I had COVID during the audition. And then she said that I didn't have the same energy from my self-tape. I was like, because I had COVID.
Oh shit! Yeah,
you know, but
you auditioned for either Diana or
is there
Bree?
Is there a Latina or non-white character?
Oh, Pippa.
Pippa.
Really?
I think it was Pippa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is Latina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go out for Lydia?
Is that yours?
Yeah.
No, I
Okay.
just Pippa. And also I did have this thing for a long time that if I liked something and didn't get it, I wouldn't watch it.
Oh,
So I haven't seen Tell Me Lies.
I still do that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
I'm
too
trying
much.
to move
There's
past-
too much heartbreak in this
Yeah.
already. I'm like,
I
if I can
liked that
protect
one a
my
lot,
peace, yeah. If I can protect my peace in any way, shape, or form, I'm going
So
to.
I don't even know who got Pippa, but God bless
God bless them.
them.
Well, we're coming up to an end here, anyways.
Really?
But I know it's already been. We have 30 seconds left.
I feel like I have so much to tell you.
Did you do? I have a great. I do have a question. Have you done acting classes over the years?
Yes. All of them.
Okay.
I can't even remember all the names, but I've done them all. The last one I've been doing was, I have 2. Joseph Perlman, who I love. I do
Okay.
it over Zoom
Oh damn.
weekly. I was just doing
Still.
that. I was doing that while I was on prison break or while we were shooting the pilot.
In a class setting.
It's a Zoom class.
Zoom class setting. Okay.
And then I also do Nancy Banks, but Daniel Travis at Nancy Banks, who is just the sweetest. I've seen what you've said about class where you think it's sometimes helpful or not absolutely necessary. I mean, I've booked stuff while I wasn't in class.
Yeah.
I've booked stuff while
I literally think it just goes back to you and what you need and your mindset and what you need in that month. The problem is when people are in class for a decade and they cling onto class as this high horse of like, oh, I'm at the top of so-and-so's class. I'm actually a TA now. And then like, those mindsets, but like they've never worked, which is totally fine if that's if that's what you want. And you're like, no, I'm like actually super happy. I found joy in teaching. But if you're in that position and you're like, why aren't I working? I would give the advice of like, ooh, maybe it's a crutch. Maybe get out of it. And
I believe in personally doing all of the different types of classes.
That's another way to do it.
Doing all the intensives and gathering what what works best for you.
Yep.
Acting Center is another one that has incredible intensives. But
Acting Center, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, they have really cool intensives and interesting. And John Markland, those are like my 4 that I.
Nancy Banks
or Daniel Travis at Nancy Banks.
Okay.
The Acting Center, and I love that each one is an entirely different method.
Really.
Yes, and so I just take little bits of. And and I don't even know. I mean, sometimes I don't even know if I know what I'm doing. Still,
yeah.
And
yeah. That's the thing. Acting in general is so. I always use this example, but unless you're like an extreme method actor, doing huge films, and then you're gonna have your own method. But if you're just pursuing a career in TV and you're wanting to work and make a living, hopefully out of it, or some money, it's all kind of subjective, but you have to get really good at like understanding material and confidence. I feel like it's just really being
it's
like
very much about confidence. I also, there are auditions that I wing and I have booked, and there are auditions that I have worked endlessly on and never hear anything.
Exactly.
So I think just keep going and keep trying to get better.
Yeah.
Which I do think you can
and
do
let
that.
go.
Yeah.
Confidence, let go. Do something you love outside of acting so that everything's not weighed on it and you're not desperate. And work ethic. Like, do your auditions. Don't pass on everything. I don't even understand or comprehend that. If you're passing, it's because you need to change your reps, I guess, because they're not sending you things that you like, clearly. I've just had so many. I remember over the years being in acting class, having friends that are actors all at the same level. We're all like auditioning and stuff, and just hearing people's mindsets of like, oh, I would never do X. Now, granted, I would never do a soap opera, so I will throw that out there. But those things where it's like, oh, I would never do a network TV. Like, I would never do Chicago or whatever. And I'm just like, and I remember listening to that and just thinking in my head, just nod and, oh, that's good. In my head, I'm like,
that's good. See, I thought then for a while, I don't want to do a guest star on a procedural.
Oh, you did think that
I did. Too. I let that get to me. And
do you know how many incredible actors? I watched Homeland to do prep for CIA because she's in the CIA. It's about the CIA. Do you know Homeland?
I just was about to start it.
Oh, really? It's so good with Claire Danes. Season 1 and 2 are like the best. But I can't wait for you to see all the celebrities. Timothée Chalamet, number 1. Oh, full guest star, just a random kid in it.
Wow.
Who's the Last of Us guy? Pedro Pascal. Full 2-episode guest star as like a juror, like something.
Wow. Yeah, I'm still, by the way, even now between Prison Break, I'm auditioning for guest stars.
I saw a breakdown for my show, which is a network television show. 10,900 is top of show right now. I was like, damn, it keeps going up.
Yeah, that's how much I got paid for Chicago Med. And I was stoked.
Same for Chicago PD. I'm like, yeah. And then you do a little 3-episoder. Boom.
Yeah.
Good to go. Yeah. Work ethic around acting and kind of, you don't have to
work ethic. I try. There's times where, I'm so busy because I'm doing so many things and I don't have the time to put into something that I would want to do. And then I would beat myself up because it's like, how do you expect, this is your priority. This is what you want to do. And you're, doing all these other things or events, or I have, and it's true at the end of the day, I wish I or I get home and I'm exhausted and, whatever. And I would beat myself up because I didn't work on it hard enough. And I think you also have to get rid of that, which I don't have the balance fully because I do beat myself up if I don't work on something enough.
Having grace with yourself,
Yeah.
and being like it. Yeah, I've also winged. I wung I wung Chicago PD kind of.
Yeah, any procedural I pretty much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Did you go out for Presumed Innocent too?
No.
Okay.
How's your memorization too?
My memorization,
Even though I know it has nothing to do with memorization, but how is your memorization?
well, first of all, for auditions in the last year or two, I don't memorize. I'm a pro, like genuine pro. I've
Teleprompter?
never actually shared this. Yeah, I'm like a professional. So when I was dating, he would teleprompt everything and I genuinely judged it. Like I would be like, how do you think you can book something when like you're not da-da-da?
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know what happened, but ever since I went like straight self-tapes, I don't know. I started.
How do you do it?
So Brando like will hold an iPad and like do it. So first of all, if
He'll
it's
scroll for
yeah.
you?
If it's something I love, like I tape here at this studio often and like I'm fully memorized. So Tanner can vouch for me, especially if it's like verbiage and stuff. But on my show now, memorizing wise, I'm on a completely like, I say words that I've never heard before. So I have to deeply understand
Yes.
everything.
So you define everything.
My
That's
memorization comes with research.
good.
Like if our episode is about Russia, I'll go watch a 30-minute documentary.
Oh.
So I can under comprehend. Tanner's delusional at this point. He's like, I'm done hearing these bitches talk.
That sounds really cool.
I will
You under comprehend Putin coup?
under comprehend Russia. Truly, that is how, for CIA specifically, it's like so specific, but that's how I'll understand something because girl. And each episode is about a different, like,
That sounds so fun.
then it's like a totally different country and situation. And this is about weapons and artillery. And then this one is about drugs.
Oh my God. Wait, what if I don't have cable?
Paramount Plus.
Okay, good.
So, but even with auditions, I have to just really understand what I'm saying. It might sound obvious, but that's how I memorize.
No, I mean, I used to audition and I have no idea what I was saying.
Yeah.
My problem is it's not a problem. My memorization, I memorize by the third time I read something. I know, but doesn't mean you're a good actor, but that makes me lazy sometimes.
On doing the work.
Yes.
But it's okay. You're seasoned at this point. But
Yeah.
but that's fucking cool. That's crazy. So you have a photographic memory?
I think so. I don't know how it is or how it works.
Yeah.
But
No, I don't have that. I don't have that. And
most,
it-
yeah.
and
It
it
does. It's no
sucks.
reflection on being a good actor, by the way.
no, but it's a skill though for your toolkit. You can get better at memorizing, I guess, if you continue to try.
yeah,
Like
but
I have
it's not even important. But
I have a feeling like season 2, episode 17 of like my show, let's say, just manifesting a season 2. I'll probably be able to pick something up and like understand it pretty quickly just from repetition. But right now my character gives all the information in the show.
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So I am saying monologues on monologues of information that I don't say in real life. So it adds definitely a layer of.
Are you done? You're done
Complexity.
shooting. Are you done shooting?
I leave on Saturday to go back to New York for 4 months.
So you're still filming
Mid-season.
the rest of. Oh,
Yeah.
say that.
But you have 8?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't believe you shoot.
8
in
is
LA.
the new. 8 is the new 12.
8 is and 12 is the new 22. Stop. We are gonna wrap it up here. I'm a little bummed I didn't get to like on set rituals because even now I just
I
want
have
to
none.
pick your brain. Okay.
I have none.
I
I try to not, because then I will be OCD about it.
And once you book a character too, that confidence is kind of like you're just like, okay.
And sometimes I think I know her, and sometimes I'm like, I'm no idea
I'm
what
still
doing.
figuring. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've shot 5
And
episodes.
I've watched and heard, watched the first seasons of shows, and Kramer didn't have him figured out, and Danny DeVito and It's
Yeah.
Always Sunny. You know, they figure it out later. So I'm trying not to be too
That's
hard on
great.
myself.
No, that's good to know because I have not figured.
You know what? You should try just a month of Joseph Perlman's class.
Okay.
Because it's a
Oh,
different.
I didn't write his name down.
It's in a different introduction to a scene, and I love using his. I mean, I use all of the different people that I'm studying,
All their methods
mm-hmm.
combined.
and past ones, and then sometimes none at all.
Georgie, thank you so much for coming on the pod. I truly appreciate your knowledge and your time and your vulnerability. And I just love you.
I love you very much. I'm very proud of you too, and I've watched your journey and I've seen what you say about manifesting, and it has inspired me, and I really admire how open you are on the internet. Like that's something I very much not struggle with. I just don't even know how to do it.
Yeah.
And you not giving a shit what people will say or think, which was something that I really struggle with is,
Yeah.
I do care, and I want to get rid of that. So, because who fucking gives a shit?
That's the thing. I'm just like,
No, who gives a shit?
and we're in such a fast-paced society now that I'm like, damn, they really forgot what I said probably yesterday.
yeah.
Like in a good and bad way. I'm like, but remember, because it was kind of
But then you
good.
just keep drilling the same point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so keep going, and I'm so happy to.
So proud of you.